you geeks! Lopin is joining us today in a special seat of honor to celebrate our wolfkin, Lord Perrin Goldeneyes' own episode 7 of Wheel of Time Season 3. And, say what you will about this episode, I have plenty of things, mostly positive, but plenty. The first of which being, no one was a designated mouth breather in this arc finale. Like, yay! Every named character had things to do, places to see, and it had such momentum that no one felt forgotten or left out. Like, good job, writing team. And if you can pull that off in the Two Rivers, I really hope you can pull that off elsewhere in Randland. Episode 7 of the past 3 seasons have always been like a high point, and then it's season 8 where the excrement hits the whirly machine, so we're not out of the woods yet of my anxiety, but we're never out of there. To break down this mostly parent-centric episode, I'm going through with group by group, faction by faction, and talk about how they met their resolutions for this episode and how I feel about it. There will be episode spoilers, of course, and there will be book spoilers, like detailed through book 6, and general homages to later books, as always. Two Rivers. Okay, Two Rivers accepting Perrin as Lord Perrin Goldeneyes was a little bit clunky, but like I've said throughout this season, I would rather have an awkward conversation about the epicness of Two Rivers longbows than no conversation about the epicness of Two Rivers longbows. Though we got so many wonderful things about the Two Rivers, from the longbows to the women's circle to the spikes, we still did not get Tam Thor, and that omission kind of hurts. Like, without him, Perrin is prone to make stupid decisions, and he's just the embodiment of Two Rivers' bad acery for the masculine element of the Wheel of Time, and maybe he'll show up next season, a girl can only hope. But Maxim did an adequate job of being Tam Thor light. Despite that, the show did a very good job of naturally conveying Perrin's heightened wolf sentences, him seeing the Tuatha from a ways off, him hearing Fael sneak up on him. Like, those are all really great little details from the books and feel very natural. The most natural thing that the show gave us isn't a book original, though. It's Perrin singing Weep for Manetheren, which was, by and large, the best thing to come out of the series premiere as a concept. Like, the show done good with that song. It is Perrin's song. Why is it not his theme music? Even Bardcore did a cover of it in the old tongue 3 years ago when no one liked this show. Like, the show had that in the wings and they played it to perfection, and I cried. And then during the reprise, just I had chills. The Waygate. I am shocked. They killed off a character who is, like, essential to 4 books worth of plot in the Wheel of Time. I don't know how they're gonna recover from this. By this I mean Cheyenne. Yeah, she's, like, responsible for half of Elaine's plot in the slog, so I guess we don't have to worry about that. But they also killed off Loyal. Oh my gosh. That shocked me in the moment. Like, he's loyal. Wow. He's already come back from the dead once, but wow. I hope he doesn't come back again, because that was an epic ending to his character for this turning. And it's like I get it mechanical wise, like he doesn't have a lot to do in the mid books, and I can understand the show not wanting to spend the special effects budget on a character who's basically there to hide from his mother from the next 4 books, but dang, he had a book to write and Aerith to marry. So yeah, this is all kind of shocking and yet satisfying. The show done loyal son of Arendt, son of Hallant, sorry if I said that wrong, let me know down in the comments, as good as they were gonna get with the time they had allotted, and I'm okay with this. Before his death, Loyal and Bane and Chiad's dynamic was great. Him trying to trick them into leaving to save their lives, and them playing G8 Toe right back at him to help out. It's how G8 Toe is meant to be played. It's kind of like the Game of Houses, but honorable. Not to mention them interacting with the Tuatha, the Lost Ones, shows that great dynamic between the two factions. All good Robert Jordan-esque things. Which brings me to the Tuatha. I had not thought Amazon was going to include the living Tuatha in Perrin's battle for the Two Rivers. Like, Perrin had that run-in with them at first, and they are essential to his character's theme of peace or violence, but Amazon had not shown a great understanding of that character dynamic within Perrin himself until this episode, basically. And I am so glad that they were there to hold on to the future of the Two Rivers and care for the children during the attack, demonstrating what courage can look like if you lack or choose not to use strength of arm in fighting against another. That being said, I cannot believe they just threw out
Secret tunnel! Secret tunnel!
You know, maybe someone on the writing staff knew exactly what they were doing, and I am going to appreciate this little Easter egg a week early, because, oh dang, like, I like it, but also use this power carefully, whoever you are. And which brings us to the interesting choice on how Aram decided to pick up the sword. Because dang, is this way more heroic and sympathetic and hot. Like, okay, man. Husband material is the guy who not only carries a babe at his chest, but also slays a monster while doing it and gets the baby to be quiet. Like, this is so amazing. Like, wholesome masculinity right there. But this is Aram. Like, this is kind of like my problem with Egwene in that I like them now, and I don't know how to feel about liking these characters who in the books were not pleasant. So, not a complaint at all, but also a very interesting adaptation choice, I must say. On to another character who is, again, much more likable in the show. Faile. At this point in the books, Perrin and Faile got married, and clearly the show was not going to do that when Perrin and Faile have barely had, like, 2 hours of screen time together before this episode. Not even an hour, I don't think. There's just not been time to develop their relationship, although the show is putting in the time this episode at least. It's also a great little detail that Perrin, at Faile's prompting, dual wields the axe and the hammer, which is great way to pick up the pace of Perrin's rather plodding plot from the midsection. Now, the show hasn't exactly explained to the show viewers out there what that dynamic is. Seriously, show viewers out there, I know you're watching. What do you think the deal with the hammer is before I explain it to you, like, right now? Okay? With Perrin, there's that peace and violence dichotomy that is emblematic with his relationship with the Tuatha and the White Cloaks and the Wolves all at war inside of him. And so the question becomes, does he wield the axe, an instrument of war, or a hammer, which is a tool? So to see him dual wield that, and for the show to instruct the cameraman and the soundtrack when it's around to say that this is a very important thing, is great little details that the show is including, and hopefully will build more on in coming seasons. It does feel like the show is very much hopeful that it will get another season or several, because so much of this plot gets left unresolved. Not only Faile and Perrin's relationship status, but also Padan Fain. It seems like Padan Fain is just another dark friend for the show now. Happy to do the will of the Great Lord and bring Trollocs into the Two Rivers, which would explain why Lord Luke, our hero, ladies and gentlemen, would be so chill with just walking on into that White Cloaks camp and casually talking with them. Or perhaps it's Lord Luke who isn't who I think he is. Or perhaps they will save him for season 4, since, as I said last week, Perrin has a whole arc where he learns-ish the ways of the world of dreams in a way that mirrors Egwene's in the book, and the show just ain't got time for that this season. So I understand their decision to emphasize his adventures in the waking world, and maybe next season go into Perrin's life in the dream, which now that I guess he has free time to sleep a lot or be unconscious on account of White Cloak beatings, who knows? Fain himself was very clever, at least this episode, using the White Cloaks to get the Trollocs into the fortifications of the Two Rivers. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the Two Rivers is smarter than those Starks at Winterfell for brilliantly deciding to stand behind their fortifications. Wow. Like, this is some next level actual tactics that Hollywood, during their Battlefield Logic sections, generally ignores. Yes, once the Trollocs got in, it was melee, and yet they still had a semblance of a line with the fence, and then having Trollocs jump in so that they could have those one-on-one fights that look so cool in shows but are not practical for actual battlefield purposes. And Robert Jordan was a soldier and wrote fight scenes when he could as authentic to actual warfield experience as possible. But alas, the show had to fall back on that good old Hollywood logic of Perrin can kill all the unnamed underlings he wants to, but must show mercy to the named mastermind lest he become a villain like Fain himself. I guess this holds a bit more water when the unnamed underlings are in fact Trollocs without any redeemable qualities whatsoever. And one could make an argument that letting Fain go at the time seemed like the only way to stop the killing immediately, which is what Perrin wanted, right? Reasonably. Not sure how it ties in well with the endgame of the episode, but for the moment, it made sense. They're trying to show that Perrin wants to stop the cycle of violence, and they're showing that, and that is a good thing. Not to mention, Fane has a lot more plot to actually do in the books, not the least of which is finding the dagger, because I don't think we've seen it at all this season. I don't particularly think the dagger or Fane's plotline is necessary after this season, but the show has a different opinion, and it's closer to Robert Jordan's, so I'm not gonna be annoyed at it. But the missing dagger is now kind of annoying, and I wonder if they will tie that loose end by the end of this season, or will we have to wait till season 4? So yeah, the decision to leave Fane alive definitely feels like next season baiting, and I hope Amazon bites. The coffins. The girls struggled with healing this episode in a very authentic Robert Jordan-esque moment. Maybe first time they get that extra spark of luck or the wheel weaving, but trying to recapture the magic can be difficult, as we've already seen with Nynaeve. So that felt right, and it was a great way to put the two rivers back in actual peril and into Perrin's hands rather than letting Alana save the day with her magic sparkle hands. I did find it funny and appropriate that the girls figured out how to throw that one fireball to kill the White Cloak who burned their mother. So at least Perrin won't have to deal with the questioner now that he's in White Cloak custody. We're getting there, but before that, there is another part of this resolution that makes me ask so many questions. Alana seems to imply that she is not taking the girls back to the White Tower next season. What? I had the captions on. I did not mishear this. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it, that she will just take the girls somewhere else wherever the wheel weaves, and I guess that could account for why they might run into Rand on the road to Tyr or something, because up until this moment, the show, I felt, has been preparing for Doom Eye's Wells. This is the end of Book 6, Lord of Chaos. Skip to the next chapter if you don't want to hear this. So here's the thing with Book 6 that I thought the show has been prepping for this entire time. Alana needs to be mentally distraught over the death of her warder as the excuse of bonding Rand against his will. So now that Alana is in a better place than she was at the beginning of the show, kind of undercuts the emotional volatility that undercuts the graveness of Alana's offense to Rand in Book 6. Now, I am pleased that the show decided to give Alana a character arc where her resolution was a different place than where she was at the beginning, but I just thought her resolution would be negative, like it wasn't going to be better for her after leaving the two rivers. The next element in that scene that is so crucial is that Rand needs to be caught off guard by the girls from the two rivers. Like, as we saw with Alcera earlier this season, Rand has a soft spot for young women, and not in a creepy way, but like in a genuine older brother sort of protective way. And that's beautiful. And that's who Rand wanted to be around the girls of the two rivers. So his guard for himself was down when Alana offered him healing and then bonded him. So that is very crucial that Alana take the girls to wherever Rand is. It doesn't need to be the White Tower, although in the show, all roads lead to Tar Valon. Both of these elements are crucial for Rand getting bonded by Alana. That bond is what allows Perrin to rescue Rand from the box, and for Rand himself to survive the box by relying on Alana's strength through the warder bond. And I'm pretty much certain that Rand is destined for the box in the show because they had Swan break through a shield in episode 1. Like, I honestly think next season, the Stone of Tear is going to be the midpoint and Dumai's Wells is the finale. Or something like that. Like, I just want to see Rand in a box. I want to see so many men in boxes right now. It's weird. Anyway, coming back to this episode, this one line seems to just take all of this brilliant foreshadowing and setup that Amazon himself has built and thrown it away. Why, Amazon? Why must you torture me like this? Still, the show has proven itself to be more than capable of course correcting after season finale missteps should they arise. So I can rest easy that perhaps they aren't blowing the Dumai's Wells plot already and are just trying to give Alana a moment of happiness before they blow it away next season. White Cloaks. Perrin cannot catch a break with the White Cloaks. Even Natty Cawthon's death and him bringing her innocence to Dane's attention already this season is not enough to save him from his own martyrdom complex. And Perrin in the books has an authentic martyrdom complex that the show grants him in a way that Jordan never would truly commit to, or Sanderson either. But in the context of the show, they actually had the White Cloaks fight for the Two Rivers. So Perrin would have looked petty AF, like Egwene levels of petty, if he pulled something like, oh, you let the Trollocs in, I'm not going to go with you, which was really the only solution I could see as watching this show. So when Perrin didn't do that, that made me respect him. He is an honorable man, like, actually. He kept his word, and that's a very Perrin thing to do. But now Perrin is in White Cloak custody, a place he never really was truly in the books, and they're going off the edge of the Jordan-led map. Now, Jordan didn't give them much of a map. Perrin's not in books 5 or most of 6 until the very end. So yes, coming into this entire show, we knew that Perrin was going to get show original plot for this period of time because they're not going to let the actor go for a whole season. And I do think that if they use this time to explore the wolf dream that they didn't have time for in this season, that would be very excellent, I must say. Lord Luke's with the White Cloaks now, I think. Like, if Faile uses her time next season to mount a rescue mission of Perrin from the White Cloaks, that would be an authentic homage to what she did at the end of The Shadow Rising, and that is rescue Perrin from the Trollocs, basically. It would also serve as excellent epic foreshadowing to whenever Perrin has to rescue someone else. 2 other people, actually. One would be a great role reversal. Like, the show actually, I think, has set themselves up for success with this one in ways that I had not been anticipating coming into the episode. So this ending surprised me and pleased me. Like, the more I think about it, the happier I get. So I really, really hope they take this solid episode as a great foundation from which to build a truly epic season finale next week. Let me know your expectation levels down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Bye!